Good morning, everyone. It's as humid as can be out here this morning, and the ground is still wet, even the driveway. We had around an inch of rain at midnight. Right as we were going to bed, it got really loud out here. I mean, really loud. So I don't have to water this morning. I just gotta put birdseed in the feeders, check on how wet they are, and do the cat water. So I'm out here doing that so we can go get a quick walk in so I can leave to go do my normal Tuesday shopping. Good morning, Gray. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi, good girl. I'm coming out, Marty. Oh, I didn't get the door shut. You see how much moisture is on the outside of the door? Humidity. Come on, Morris. There you go. Well, that's Marty. Here's Morris. Good morning. Good morning. During the thunderstorm last night, Morris was in the cat hotel in the wicker chair. This thing over here. And he looked okay. I checked in on him because, of course, Marty and Stripe are in the house. Maybe sometime Morris will come in the house through the back door, but every time he still looks like he's just not quite sure about that, and I try not to scare him. I wonder if the wind did that. Maybe it'll sort itself out today. You know, sometimes we come out and we have these storms, and then we have flowers that have gotten tall in the summer laying over, but hopefully not too much. I'm frustrated. We're really short on time today. I told Don less trash, fast walking, and then of course I'm stopping to pick up trash because I just can't go past it. So Tempest said around an inch, and I learned last night, because I've been thinking it's been doing fuzzy math with my rain totals, that it does initially show you, I guess, what you got, and then later on it uses surrounding stations to help decide what you really got. So probably what it shows me is not what we got. Anyway, right as the storm was mostly ending, it was 1.11 inches, and when I got up this morning it was at like 0.92 inches, and that's what I've been seeing. It's been coming in and recalculating after the fact, which of course for this math major I know that I've got what I got. Anyway, and also the Tempest tends to be a little less rain than more rain. The two rain gauges we have outside this morning were both right at 1.5 inches. It poured, so we can clearly say that we got over, see what I'm dealing with here, and then my thing hit. We clearly got over an inch, or got an inch, and you know, whatever else we got, that's what we got. I still am, you know, I would say I would buy the Tempest all over again. I'm not that upset about it. And you can turn off the estimator and just get your station, and if you turn it back on, it redoes the estimate so you don't lose the data. So underneath there it must be keeping both things, but it won't let me see both at the same time, which I think would be the best of both worlds. Let me see what my gauge showed, and let me see what is the average assessment of all of the local Tempest stations, and then I'd be happy. I have no I don't disregard the data that takes everyone into account. It's just not my data. And it's giving me the wet bulb globe temperature, which factors in a bunch of things and tells me if it's really safe to be outside or not. Or at least if I am outside, choosing to be outside anyway, that how much I need to be worried about drinking and not passing out. So that's all good. Yeah, we had a little storm here last night. All these leaves came down on these river birch trees. I'm home. I made a coffee, changed my shirt, and did just a couple other things in the house. Dawn got Ruby out for me, and now I'm off. I'm on time. It's 10:22 now, so my ETA says it's 10:50. That would be nice. That would be not stressful. That would be good. Let's hope it holds. Dawn's headed to the landfill. Oh, joy. You got to fix my printer today, and he's got to go to the landfill on top of the usual, all of the things that he's got to do. So, yeah. Now, there's a red Y. There's a silver, not Quicksilver though, maybe the Stealth Gray new Model Y in front of us. And I had passed another probable Stealth Gray on the way on the road. So what I'm trying to say and not doing a great job of is I've already seen 2 junipers today. And I'm not even, there's a second red Model Y. I'm not even, 5 miles from the house yet. I'm heading through the shopping center because the cars were backed up into the intersection waiting to turn left at the light. And my experience tells me when it turns green, everyone won't get through. And I ain't going for that. The town of Holly Springs could easily make that light stay green about another 30 seconds to help prevent that excessive backup over there, which causes other dangerous things besides frustrating people. Cars going through the red on the left turn there and being stuck in the intersection, etc., etc. But that would be too efficient and convenient and make too much sense, so that won't happen. There's a small chance of showers today, and we're going to be up in the mid-90s. The actual, 100 on the mercury hasn't really materialized, at least not in Fuquay, that they thought. One of the local guys said, yeah, it looked like that for a while, and then it didn't look like that. But changing the narrative once you started telling people it's going to be 100 degrees for 5 days straight is really kind of difficult. Yeah, today, well, it is both lanes if he's not going to. All right. This is also a left turn, which people don't realize sometimes. He said changing the narrative once you've, got it out there can be a little difficult sometimes, and they just don't like to do, it's not as sensationalistic. People aren't going to log in to hear the weather if you, saying it's going to be 98 degrees instead of 100 degrees just doesn't get the same reaction, I guess. See, this light also stays green much longer on top of other bonuses. I have not heard back about picking up my shoes, my new sneakers that they ordered for me, which is not over the time they said I needed to wait, so that's fine. But I was just reminded because when I was turning left there, if I'd gone straight, that's where that shoe place is. It would have sort of been convenient to pick them up on a Tuesday maybe. If not on the way home. I did want to say that I did get my reminder from the chiropractor on Sunday for 11 a.m. So I know that I have an appointment today. I won't show up and them not be there. My shoulder that was giving me so much pain has really gotten less bothersome since I stopped lifting the weights with my arms at the gym. I've still been doing all of the leg weights, but not the arm weights. I'd like to try to add some arm weights back in, but that shoulder blade pain is where on the left side was so bad that, I'm hesitant to do that because, well, obviously I don't want to be in that much pain again. And I'm not really sure how I overdid it. Just apparently maybe every repetitive motion. Maybe I can add it in once a week instead of 3 times a week for starters, see how reduce the reps or something, but I sure would like to add it back. But at any point, I'm trying to decide where I want her to put the paddles today. And the shoulder blade is not so bad, so maybe we can just focus on the lower back. I also haven't been out there bent over pulling stilt grass for hours, which tends to really crank up the lower back part. So, yeah, it's not too bad today, but yet I'm still glad I'm going. And I know they're there. Well, Janice's Camaro is here. That's another good indication I'm in the right place at the right time. I left climate keep on so that the car will be cool when I come back. It's easier just to keep it where it is than to try to get it to catch back up on these super hot days with, you know, my older air conditioner. Well, all good. You can see that I'm not the only one that's a creature of habit about where I park my car in certain parking lots, because the red car here and the Model 3 are most always in those places as well. So, just saying. We like where we like when we can. I did go into Goodwill for just a minute. I got this pink blanket with the golden retriever on it for Ariel. Lab, I guess lab, but you know, golden's pretty close. And then I got these 2 nesting boxes where were really cheap. I couldn't pass them up. They've still got some Christmas and July stuff out, and then this area also has the garden stuff. It was slim pickings in there for me today. I got Michelle 2 Harry Potter glasses and a 3-inch cast iron blue tinted mermaid. And that was all I got. So the little bag, it's going to her house. I am headed to get pork rinds for Don. He texted me, please try not to forget the pork rinds. I buy 6 or 8 bags at a time. That way at least I don't have to come every week. Okay, I'm back in Ruby and I'm headed over to Whole Foods now. It's just the air conditioning switching from climate keep to regular. I've put the pin in. I'm still going back and forth every time I drive Ruby with, I want to stick with Ruby, I want a new X. I want to stick with Ruby, I want a new X. Today I was coming back, I had 2 6-pack cans of soda in my arms, 2 bags filled with pork rinds, which of course aren't heavy, and the bag with glass in it from Guardian Angel. And there's no cart return over here, and in the heat I'm not walking from over here all the way back to Food Lion, which is, you know, over there, if I could get the camera to cooperate, you know, over there and then back again. It's just not happening. I gotta walk that hill twice today at Whole Foods to put the cart back, and just not happening. So I stood at the back of the car and I thought, God, if the trunk lid would just open on its own so I didn't have to try to switch stuff from one hand to the other to get into the trunk. That would be so great. And every time I have to, you know, I get nagged and I have to move the wheel, I think, oh God, I don't want to be doing this anymore. And then I think, but I really wanted to go 250,000 miles in this car like I did on the van and I did in my Acura. And all the things about this car that I would lose if I got a new X. But the certain things is definitely like, God, if we, you know, if we could make Ruby have a cabin camera and I didn't have to nag the wheel, that would probably be good enough right there. We just keep Ruby. Just saying. But the, you know, and I know there's like hand shawl things or something we could do probably to automate the trunk in the back. And those would be the 2 main. I mean, I'd miss the lights and the front camera, which actually you could probably put a front camera on too, a third-party camera. But anyway, I'm just back and forth all the time, back and forth. Well, this makes my 3rd visit and the truck is still broke down and over there. It's definitely the same truck. Oh, it's hot here on the asphalt. This is the worst I've walked in today. I would be glad to hit the air conditioning inside the store. See, they've recently added more pine mulch, which is slippery. I would grab that piece of trash, except for I've got my purse, my camera, the big bag of bags with 2 of those glass bottle returns that are pretty heavy. I don't have, I need a third hand. Well, shopping was fine today. I didn't have horrible items on the top shelf that I had to ask for help for. First time in forever. I got to talk to my friend up front that I've known for over 10 years for a little bit. You know, she always asks about Johnny, so that's really nice. And I was finishing up my lunch, my snack, whatever we want to call it, and somebody parked next to me, which, you know, I'm never super fond of, but in this case, the person came and parked at an angle. I mean, I felt like they were going to hit Ruby. And then their car was, I think calling it a beater car is not an exaggeration. And the inside of the car up to the dashboard height in the front and the back, except for where the person was sitting, was filled with bags of something. Now, they could have been meaningful objects, but my impression, like clothes, you know, they're living out of their car, but my impression was more that it was trash. So I put in pin to drive and I moved to another parking space until I was ready to leave the parking lot, because that person worried me. I think that's fair to say that they worried me. And mostly it was the almost hitting Ruby parking that was the major thing. But anyway, I looked back over at them and they had gotten out of their car, and where I left, somebody else pulled in that they apparently knew. So that was a little disconcerting also. And they were walking around outside the car, and their shorts were all the way down so that their entire butt and boxer briefs and everything was showing. You know how these young kids, they don't want to keep their pants up. Somehow they think it's cool to walk around with their pants lowered. And anyway, I just was like, wow. My impression was they grabbed something out of their car and were getting in the car with the people that pulled up into my spot, like they were parking their car there for a while and going off somewhere else. Anyway, the things you see, even in Cary, at Whole Foods. The white car there in my rear view mirror is an e-tron. Q6 on the back, but e-tron on the side. Obviously, that's an electric vehicle front grille. I haven't seen an e-tron other than the one that's on out of spec videos in like forever. But that's what that was. Obviously the grill caught my attention. Oh, that must be an electric vehicle. That's a dealer plate, and I guess it's a Discovery is what it says. But what I'm trying to figure out is, what's the point of the asymmetry where the license plate is? I don't know. Hey.
Hey, what's that?
You're going to like it.
What is it?
It's homemade chicken salad.
Oh, way cool.
And it has little sweet cherry tomatoes in it and a little bit of dill relish that you like. And it's a ranch, homemade ranch sauce. And I know you're going to want pork rinds. And the lettuce was totally unnecessary, but I was in a I was in a presentation mood.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Johnny and I ran an errand and came home to find this level of cuteness. And I was going to say that all summer long, the kitties are basically living right here. I don't know what they would do without the shade of that Japanese maple. I felt the ground. The ground feels really cool there. It blocks the sun and it's a little damp and it's nice and cool. They're cooler than you would think out here in this heat. Bothered by mosquitoes though.
Well, there's a sight you don't see. A dark printer. That's because I turned it off because it has a problem. When it feeds filament from the AMSs, it doesn't matter which one, it goes into a hub at the rear of the X1C, and the hub switches between the 4 AMSs and sends it out that one tube. You see that tube right there? That loops around and goes to the extruder. Well, this is a single hub. Notice there's one in and one out. So just imagine 4 inputs and 1 output. This device, this hub, this is a single hub. It switches amongst the 4 AMS. This one obviously doesn't do that. It's just one. But it shows you there's a little mechanism. It's a sensor in here. And there's actually a little, oh God, what's it called? I don't forgot now. But I'll show it to you when I get it off. But basically, it's the same number of screws. See, there's 2 screws here. And so I'm going to undo those 2 screws. And the whole, I have to, of course, undo the 4 PETG tubes on one side and the 1 PEGT tube on the other. So after I remove the 5 tubes and undo the cable, I can take the 2 screws out, and basically this thing will be in my hands. And then I can take a look at what's wrong. But again, I'm just showing you this one is to give you an idea of what I'm fixing to do. So far so good. Again, this was the single hub I was showing you. I've now removed the 4 hubs. See, there's the 4 inputs that go to the fan out to the AMS. And this is the output tube. And of course, anybody with little eyeballs can see that the, I'll try to show you right there. You notice it's where's my finger? There it is. Notice it's clear here and greenish looking there. So there's a piece of filament stuck in this tube. Of course, if I would have been where I could easily have gotten to the back of the printer, I probably would have spotted that. I'd have to take a flashlight or something to it. But you know, it's the printer's pushed up against. I don't know. Is that gonna? Does that help? I can't tell. There, maybe, yeah. There you can see. That's the end of the filament there. So maybe I could have pulled that out without disassembling or taking the hub off. But of course I got to get it out of there. But anyway, that gives you an idea. Piece of filament stuck in the hub. Oh well. All right, there it is. I was able to pull it out. You can see the filament sticking out. I had to basically hold the spring up to go in there to push the little plunger. This one you can see a little bit better. Let's see. Terrible lighting. There it is. See that little disc? It pushes down. And that releases the PETG tube. Anyway, that's all I had to do. I don't think it's got any more in it. I will stick a piece of filament through it and see if I can make a piece of filament go through it before I reassemble. Okay, so I was able to stick a piece of filament through, stick it in the hub here, and you can stick it all the way through. Let me try it one more time. You'll see it come out down here. You see the, whoops, where is it? There's, see the filament, so it's clear. So the passageway is clear all the way through. So this filament was just stuck, and it obviously it broke. I had told Marianne I noticed this filament was really brittle, so it just, you know, broke. So I'm going to reassemble this thing, and with a little luck she'll be back printing here in just a little bit. Okay, it's back on there. I used a 2mm hex wrench bit in my 1/4 inch hex driver handle. It's one of those that you can just slip it out, very similar to the chucks on the cordless drills. Make sure you've got your AMS tool to undo that cable, and you also need your AMS hub tool, which is different than your AMS buffer tool. They look the same, but the buffer tool is bigger. That this end down here, that end right there, is actually bigger than this guy. I don't know if you can tell the difference. But anyway, you need the one that says AMS Hub. So you did print your little tools, right? Your bamboo tools, right? You did print them, right? And you used 2 colors so you could read the writing, right? So we're gonna power it back on here and give her a shot and see how she works. All right, there it is, all lit up. That's what you're used to seeing. Colors are all back. She's my girl. She is not a monochromatic person. She loves her colors. We took the tan and the denim blue and gray off, and we've put on translucent orange, translucent purple, ABS blue. Anyway, we got it all nice and colorful now, and it's fed. And actually, she's fixing to send to print, but it's already loaded and unloaded a bunch of times, so it's working very well now. That simple jam of that tube is all that was wrong. Like I said, if I had to do it again, I could probably do it a little quicker. I may not take everything apart. You know, the key thing is, can you spot the filament stuck in the tube? Maybe spend a couple more minutes looking carefully at the tube to see if you can tell there's filament in the tube, because that'll give you a clue where your jam is. Anyway, all's well that ends well.